Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
Want to get rich with podcasting? Liz Brooks is your answer. What's going on, Liz?
Hi, Arkenna. Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm excited about this one. You know why? Because so many people are missing the boat and not doing a podcast. And I think while we started doing a podcast back in 2000, 2020, it's made a huge difference for our business. And obviously you and your services and also that of interviewvalet.com can help a lot of people who are watching this and listening to this. So let's get right to it. Let's get rocking. How's it sound?
Sounds great.
All right, we're going to be hanging out for about 20 minutes. As you know, our marketplace, people who are watching and listening to this are, entrepreneurs, usually real estate entrepreneurs, real estate agents as an example, and they want to take their business to the next level. Instead of making whatever, 100,000, they want to make 200,000. A lot of them ask me, well, why podcasting? Why do you have this podcast? Well, why don't you supply some answers, and let's get into some specifics so we can add value to those people who are watching and listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be doling out some advice for entrepreneurs here. I think I come from a very traditional PR background. I worked with a lot of, worldwide agencies, blue chip clients. I'm in Silicon Valley, so, a lot of B2B, B2C tech companies. You probably heard from a lot of my clients, but I can't, name them out loud. But I think regardless of the size or the scale of your company, I think, all of these CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs are coming into this with a very traditional perspective of what you can achieve with PR and how you can expand your share of voice and brand authority. One of the very first things that I was introduced to once I was starting, in the traditional PR space was thought leadership campaigns. Every single PR campaign that we had at least one spokesperson that we were doing thought leadership campaigns for. And of course, the focus of these thought leadership campaigns is share of voice and building brand authority. And everyone is usually coming at this from a traditional media perspective. I've worked in traditional media for a very, very long time. And when you're reading these statements that come from CEOs and spokespersons, it's oftentimes not coming directly from that person. It's being written by the agency, and then it bounces over to the internal PR company, back to the agency. Then from there, it goes to the editor. So by the time you're reading an article or a published statement, it's gone through so many filters that, if you know anything, you know that it's not coming straight from the horse's mouth. It's almost like looking at an Instagram picture with like a dozen filters on it. It looks like a completely different person. That's not who you're going to meet on the street. That's not who you're going to meet on a first date. So anywho, taking like 7 steps back from where I just went, I've always been an early adopter of podcasts. I've been listening to them since 2010, 2011, not to age myself too much. Certainly not within like the B2B tech space where I ended up pitching, later down the line. But I knew right away that's such a great way to get people on the go. It's something that is being adopted more and more, especially at that time. It was still kind of new. And nobody was bringing that up in these campaigns. Nobody was talking to these spokespersons about those opportunities. I was pretty low in the totem pole back then, but I brought podcasting up, and almost all of the different clients that I was working with were interested in that. So slowly over time, over the years, I started specializing on that more and more. And then eventually I got to doing that full time. So now I do podcast marketing full time and offer a PR lens on top of that, kind of the inverse of what I was doing before, which was traditional PR, looking at that through the podcasting lens. So I love the flip. I love, the switch that has happened here. And yeah, ultimately, I think if you're trying to reach a larger audience or reach your target audience, which really that is what's most important. And we can talk about that later if we want to. Um, what better way to build that share of voice than with your actual voice? And you can do that with TV as well. That can accomplish the same goal. But good luck getting on TV. That is a lot
Yeah,
harder. Not impossible, but that's a completely different beast. And also, not everyone has time to watch TV. One of the great things about podcasting is that it's such a great way to reach a larger audience who is too busy to sit down and read an article or to sit down and watch the news. I'm listening to podcasts all day long as I'm vacuuming, as I'm walking the dog, as I'm commuting. And I'm not by myself. So I think I'm not here to say abandon traditional PR, abandon print, TV or anything like that. I'm saying why not both? Like the perfect world is a blend of both strategies. And ultimately that's I think how you're going to cast the widest net.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think I'm blown away because we started, as I mentioned, 2020 doing a show, and now it's both a video and an audio means. And I think what for us is you could chop it up into small little tidbits. Um,
Yep.
um, and you're it's a live voice. You're getting your voice out, especially now with all the AI stuff. You don't know what's live, what's not live, even though podcasts can be so as well. But you're getting in touch with the client or the potential client is seeing, touching you, etc. And that makes a huge difference because they have to see and touch you a lot more than they ever have. So I think and what I would also say is it's fun because it's a very casual conversation typically, and people are getting to know you again on a level that they probably wouldn't otherwise, and sometimes on a daily
Absolutely.
basis. Like we do it on a daily basis. We are literally out there doing a podcast every single day, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there. That's another, I think, huge advantage of podcasting too, blending that into your PR strategy is that it helps instill trust. Again, versus like traditional media or TV, because it is such a more personal way to connect with your audience. I think when we're trying to develop messaging and strategy, so much of it is, what is a problem that you help solve? Who else is solving it? What sets you apart from those people? But also, what is your why? What's your personal tie in to this, to your app, to your product, to, whatever it is that you're trying to spread out there? Why does it matter to you? And I think that is really what's going to connect and what's going to resonate with people and get them back to your website or to do those calls to action that you're looking for as a CEO, as a spokesperson. Yeah, just that personal connection. And also something that you should be doing if you're not already doing it with podcasting is, to your point, are kind of repurposing, like making small snippets using that same media to create even like a month's worth of content that you can be sharing with your audience so that even if you're not doing a podcast every day like you are, but they will still see you, hear you every day based on how you're reusing that material as well. And that helps increase your domain authority, your SEO. There's just exponential benefits to using it in that way.
There's so many benefits. It just blows me away how more people don't do them. People think, it's too much work. It's not too much work if it equates to revenue down the road. It's worth it. It's your ROI, return on investment, is great as far as I'm concerned with podcasting. So obviously you're working with Interview Valet. You're doing their PR. Tell us a little bit about yourself and also Interview Valet. By the way, we're not getting paid in any way for this, but I think it's a cool story.
Oh, well, so I myself got like kind of into this whole world, as you can see, like in the background here. I'm a musician. So I was trying to spread, my own share of voice within the music scene, getting journalists to come out to my shows, getting more people to listen to our music. Very much, the same problems that our clients are coming to us with on a completely different scene and scale. But so I was already kind of living in this world, putting together media lists and everything before I knew what they were, which is how I got into the space. But over time, working in the traditional PR world, got a little bit burnt out from that. That just the traditional agencies and the structure of it all. Again, I was looking for something that was going to, I think, satisfy my personal schedule and also just, what I wanted to do personally. We've already talked about how podcasting is more of a relaxed environment, a more personal way to connect with people. And I think that really shows with the people that work within the industry, with the hosts that we work with the people that I work with at Interview Ballet. It's a very different approach. And I think it's just a much better way to connect with people. And yeah, what we do at Interview Ballet, we have we have all sorts of clients that come to us. Some of our clients are hosts that we work with. So we have people that come to us who are extremely experienced. They already know what they're doing, and they just they don't have the time or the bandwidth to do it themselves, so they need someone to help. That's where we come in. And then we have folks who come to us who are completely green and they've never recorded a podcast before. And so we provide them with the equipment that they need, which we
Mm,
do offer that. We help set up their their strategy, their messaging. We put the campaign together for them. We help them with their speaking points. We can do mock interviews if need be. And we're always on the lookout for more ways. The technology that we have at our disposal now is ridiculous. So we're constantly finding new tools and new ways to help our clients with more, whether that be tone of voice reports, that the entire communications department can use so that everything matches the same branding, the same share of voice based on the interviews you've done, to interview analysis, how you can improve from your last interview to the next.
mm,
So yeah, that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. It is ever evolving,
mm.
as is this industry. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. But
That
yeah,
did,
that's a
that
little
did.
bit of me and Interview Ballet as a whole.
I did. So give me a couple tips for people because again, here I've been telling people, hey, you should start a podcast, both visual and audio. So what's some ways that people would get started on getting on some podcasts? Let's say they're not ready to start a podcast, but they want to get on some podcasts. What are some clues that can help some of those people who are out there?
Well, know why you're trying to get on a podcast to begin with. Um, what is the goal that you're trying to achieve? What's the messaging that you're trying to get out there? And then use that to identify the podcast that you want to get onto. If you don't have, again, the bandwidth or you don't know how to do it yourself, definitely find someone who can help you, such as ourselves. I think two other very important things to come in, especially if this is new to you. Everybody comes in and they want the biggest shows.
Yeah.
Everybody says Joe Rogan, and it's like, why do you want to be on that show? Your product has nothing to do with his audience. Everybody just thinks that bigger is better. And something that we say at IB Interview Ballet, sorry, is that better is better. It's more about finding your target audience, your niche audience that's really going to listen to you and deliver that ROI versus just trying to do the spray and pray method of getting on the biggest show, the biggest audience that you can, because that's oftentimes not going to be effective. I think the other thing to keep in mind is the importance of being open minded and flexible when it comes to not only your target audience, but ultimately your campaign goals as well. I think
Mm,
one example, and not to throw any names out there, but we had one client within the health and wellness space. They were promoting a product. They really, really wanted to hit the younger audiences, Gen Z, millennials, younger than me. I'm a millennial, but like even on the younger side of that. And we were trying everything that we could. And we even got them on some of the larger shows within that space, but they just weren't seeing the conversions that they wanted to. And we were
mm,
doing ad spend as well. And they were, why aren't we seeing the results? Like we're getting on the shows that we want. So did some behind the scenes brainstorming. Sometimes you have to try and ask for forgiveness versus permission.
mhm,
This was one of those instances. I started going out to the like the wellness over 40 longevity crowds and shows, and they loved this product, and they were willing to go on. They were willing to kind of pivot that original strategy that they came to us with, to go on these shows. And even though they were smaller and it was a different target audience than what they originally had in mind, they started seeing conversions so quickly. And they were finally able to get that ROI that they were looking for. So I think the three biggest takeaways would be know your why.
Mhm.
Find your target audience. Sometimes niche is going to be way better than versus, bigger.
Yep.
And then last but not least, be flexible, be able to think on your feet and be able to take advice and see who wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes you got to go in that direction.
I thought those are really good ideas. Nice. Liz knows how to come through. So then what about, let's say someone wants to start a podcast. What's some words of wisdom that you would drop to them?
Build your catalog. Don't start a podcast and start publishing as soon as you have your first or second episode done. Have at least a dozen behind your back, so that you can be consistent. I think, especially if you're starting out, one of the worst things that you can do is have long period of gaps between putting shows out because people are going to forget about you. A lot of
100%.
people ask, yeah. Oh, I was going to say a lot of people will ask, like, what do you see trending? I see more and more podcasters putting out either repurposing the content that they already have into shorter episodes or creating backlogs of shorter episodes, minisodes, if you will, that they can put out on a more consistent basis just to keep that cadence going, in terms of not losing your audience.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we do it every day is we want to be consistent. We want to get a message
Yeah.
out, chat with people every single day. Because one of the big things we heard was, people come out with a podcast for, let's say, whatever, every other week, and then they do it for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then they stop.
Yeah,
I wanted to commit.
exactly.
Vast Voice, we're committed to it. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we were going to be doing it no matter what, rain or shine, Christmas, otherwise, 365 days a year. And it's made a difference because now we have
Yeah.
an audience. People are coming and watching us, listening to us, although we don't have as much engagement as I'd like. But that's a whole nother story. Oh, yeah. Well, wait a minute. While I have Liz Brooks here. So, how do we get engagement, or anyone who's out there, how do they get engagement for their podcast?
I think everybody everybody always tags the host or the show. I think also tagging people that you know who are relevant to the conversation, who may have something to say or to chip in,
Mhm.
that is important. Also, when you are sharing these, have a call to action in there. Create a poll. Have a question. Give people a reason to click on that or to leave a comment. Don't just put something up and expect that it's going to be so fantastic that people are going to go in and comment with praise. Sometimes even a little bit will just get them to click that button or to leave a comment, but you have to incentivize sometimes.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you right off the bat. I mean, because we've only had a couple of times where we've done a poll or asked questions. Here, if you call in or email in, you get this. We need to do that because that'll make a difference. Because it's the engagement. Who cares about? I mean, who listens or watches? But really, what matters is the engagement. People who are invested in the show. That's really what matters if you think about it.
Yeah, and also depending on the platform that you use, there's all these different tools now where you can see, what hours of the day your audience is, usually on the app or on the platform. If you have access to that data, also just use that data so that you're posting on the busiest days at the best times. Don't don't post on a Sunday at 7 o'clock at night because no one's online.
Yeah, that really is
But
true.
that's the basics. But
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So, okay, so then what about, oh, here, because I know you coach people who are coming into a podcast recording. What do they do afterwards? Because I've seen different strategies. I'm just wondering which ones work. So let's say, as an example here, Liz, you're on our show. By the way, this is Bass Voice telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. This is Kenner French with VastSolutionsGroup.com. We're chatting with Liz Brooks, who is her own representative, but also works with interviewvalet.com, helping people to get on shows, etc. So what are you going to do as a follow-up to this show to optimize it for us and also you, and also, I guess, Interview Valet?
So we send thank you cards all the time. Like, that's such a small personal touch. You will be receiving a thank you card from me. But also just kind of keeping our finger on the pulse of when this is going to go live, making sure that we're promoting it as much as you are. Don't just expect the host to promote the episode and tag you. You have to do the work on your end. So yeah, like, not only will I be sharing the episode, but Interview Ballet will be sharing the episode. I'm sure some of my coworkers will. Just getting everybody that to help, spread that net of awareness once this goes live. I think that's ultimately the best way that you can say thank you to a host and show your value as a guest.
Yeah, I think
And then
follow up.
obviously, if you have a book or a T-shirt or something that you can send, I don't, but if you do,
Well, maybe
that's
maybe
always a nice.
maybe you could send us some of your music. But anyway, but that I only say that. I'm excited to
I'll
hear
send
about
you
your.
some links. I'll
There
send
you
you
go.
some links. Yeah.
There you go. We now, I'm just throwing this out. We have just adopted recently Google reviews. So now people are on our show. We'll, if they like the interaction, if they think some of our philosophies or our podcast is pretty cool, we have them, do a Google review and then a like, and then that'll help hopefully get some eyeballs or some ears on the episode.
So yeah, ratings and reviews is a big one, and I should have said that right off the bat. Sorry, I was thinking of like the other things that
Yep. Yep.
would set us apart from what most people just go and automatically do. Google reviews is, I haven't heard that. Usually it's Apple Podcasts that everyone is looking for the ratings and reviews for, but I didn't know that. Send me the link and I will leave a review.
I will do it. I love it. Because I know you've listened and watched some of our shows. So, all right, this is good. I'm really getting some good ideas out of this. So then, let's just say, what are your thoughts on now the new kind of move towards video podcasting in addition to audio? Do you think that makes sense? Because I think it makes sense, but I just want to know your viewpoint and how do you optimize that?
I think it's great. If you can do it, why not? More and more shows are trending in this direction. It's again just more content to put on YouTube. It helps with the, MUA, domain authority, all of that. There's again really only benefits to it. And then it's great for repurposing content as well. Repurposing content is so much more effective when you have the video audio format together versus just the audio clips. However, that being said, I think it's still super duper important that we always, having just the audio is still so valuable for folks on the go, because not everybody has time to sit down and watch the YouTube episode. But having both is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that more and more of our clients are looking for as well. Like if a show doesn't have that video element, sometimes people don't want to go on it. So as a host, take that into consideration as well.
Yeah. So, and okay, how about this? What's one thing, no, either what's one example of an individual, maybe your own client or that of Interview Valet that's completely turned their life around? Let's just say they're in a business making, I'm just throwing out a number, 100,000 because they got on your show or using you. Now they're making $200,000 or $300,000 in short order. Give me one example without saying a name where you've added value, maybe how you added value in that regard.
So I can't say any specific names or numbers in that regard. But I will say we've had at this point multiple clients who have come to us and said, just based on this one lead or this one conversion, if we get that, that will already have paid for this twofold, threefold. And we hear that constantly. Most recently, this this client works within both real estate, but has a background in energy. And, again, kind of like focusing on the bigger, more real estate or investment focused shows. They were getting leads, but they were on a smaller, more energy focused shows. They got like 3 or 4 different leads from that one show alone, even though it was much smaller. So now we're definitely trying to find and target more of those shows for them, given there's not like an exponential amount of them. There's only so many, right? But trying to find as many shows of those as we can, to continue to, try to develop as much of that ROI for that client as possible. But they already said, even if just one of those leads comes through, it already paid for their campaign and a renewal if they want to. And they're stoked. So yeah.
I like hearing that. And I know from dealing with some of the people there at Interview Valet, not only internally, but also your guys' clients, you guys bring value because those people who are coming to us are they're already polished. They kind of know what's going on, and I appreciate you guys and you for this. So, all right. So as we get ready to, close up shop. So what's one thing that we have not talked about that can add value to someone who, I don't know, wants to be a guest or wants to host or wants to start a podcast? So this is a general question. What's one tip that you would give to really any of those in any of those categories, any person in any of those categories?
Start listening to podcasts. Listen to the podcast that you want to be on. That's a big one. Listen to the podcasts that inspire you. Like figure out what you like about those shows or what you like about those guests. Don't just walk into it completely blindly if you can avoid it. That seems like general knowledge, but sometimes it helps to hear it.
I understand what you're saying about that, because you need to know your marketplace. If you're not paying attention to your marketplace, or in this case, listening and watching your marketplace, you're going to fall because you're not, customizing your voice to that group.
All right. Also, keep track of the trends within that market space too. Make sure that what you're able to talk about is going to be timely and interesting so that you're not just so you're not saying the same thing every time. That's another thing too, is you don't want your messaging to get stale. That can happen so quickly.
Yep, yep. All right. So I almost forgot this. How does someone get a hold of you if they're interested in working with you personally, Liz Brooks, or with Interview Valet, et cetera?
So you can find me at interviewvalet.com/Liz. You can connect with me through there. And then also you can find me on LinkedIn. There are like 30 Liz Brookses on there, I believe. So you can find me at /Liz.G, like golf.brooks, BROOKS. And that's me on LinkedIn.
All right. Can you do that? Say that one more time.
That's linkedin.com/Liz.G, like golf.brooks, BROOKS.
Sweet, man. This has been good. I think, again, I've been working with you guys for a while. By the way, we did get an award from you guys, top 20 business shows to listen to. So I dig that. But and we didn't pay for that. You guys obviously like listening and watching the show. And anyway, dealing with you guys and dealing with you, it's been awesome. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be on.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Sweet. All right, kids. This is Kenner French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs, closing up shop. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. Have a great day.